What's up, everyone? It's Willette with Urbex and Coasters, and today I am at Bayern Park here in Germany. They have another Mauer X car here that we want to get on, and the Mauer X car has limited hours compared to the rest of the lineup in this park, and considering that the rest of the lineup of this park looks like a kiddie park, I'm very much worried about this Mauer X car going defunct, especially considering G-Force at Drayton Manor and Rip Ride Rocket. You know, some of these Mauer X cars seem to be reaching the end of their service lives, so, you know, as soon as this one needs major maintenance, it's probably going defunct. So I feel like it's really important that we get on this one now, and we're gonna do that today. So I'll get footage of the X car later. Behind me is a kiddie coaster. I got my 10 to 15 laps on the X car. That ride was awesome, and I'll talk more about it when I'm close to it to get footage, but that kiddie coaster is operating. It allows adults on it, and in the back row you do get a little bit of laterals on the drop on this small Zero Tivoli, but yeah, nothing much, just a credit, but you know, good little credit pickup. Frizzle Flats, the Gerstlauer family coaster, you can see poking up behind me. Definitely ridden better, ridden worse. I would say it's better than 100% Wolf though, because it has a longer backwards section. The layout is about equivalent. Like here, you can see the spike here. That spike does nothing, just like 100% Wolf, but it does have a bigger backwards section. So basically you do the whole layout both forwards and backwards. So you're gonna get equivalent forces in the very front and very back, because you're experiencing the same layout in what's essentially the front row and essentially the back row. Here's a good look at the whole layout. Spike does nothing, that bunny hill does nothing. Definitely do prefer Dragonfly and of course Megalodon, the best family coaster I've done, to this one, but still a fun little ride. Front outside on this Gerstlauer Skyfly, the rest of the seats are duds. Backwards POV on my first butterfly. You can see a lot of these on the roller coaster database from Europe, and you're probably wondering what they're like. So here is a POV of one. So you can see we've got the lift hill here. Then it releases. You can see that tire down there, that's what's used as the brake. I would say these should count as credits because, I mean, I would say these are shuttle coasters. Also, for these butterflies, I want to draw your attention to this, that you have to have someone outside of the ride pushing start. I guess it's a, hey, these are mostly built for kids, and probably the company who built these doesn't know what coaster enthusiasts are, and you know, assumes that, hey, they want a parent supervising outside. Luckily, there is a booth right there with an operator who can play that role if need be. All right, so I just rode Octobahn, their other Zero Tivoli right there. And I am at coaster completion for this park. So I would say that Octobahn right here, this is probably one of the weaker Zire Tivolis that is not a kiddie Tivoli, but you know, good credit pickup, and you know the real reason you come here if you're a coaster enthusiast. So this park does have a couple sections, so you want to cross this bridge and walk around the lake because there is a Vigand bobsled back here. Not a credit from the looks of things, but definitely an interesting ride that you don't want to miss. So they have a Vigand bobsled here. It has similar vehicles to Alpine coasters as opposed to the ones at Steenwassen that didn't have a seat back. So these have a seat back. I feel like that makes these ones safer. You can see what the vehicles look like. I'd say this one's on the line for, is it a coaster or not? I'd say the one at Steenwassen, absolutely not. But this one, it's kind of debatable. Like, let me know. Do you think this is a credit? Because I can certainly see the argument for it. Like, if alpine coasters are credits, I can see the argument for, oh, this is a bobsled coaster. Like, say, alpine bobsleds, I certainly count that. I count the one at Europa. I count the one at King's Dominion. Like, I count flying turns at Knoebels. Like, bobsled coasters are coasters. So, if a bobsled coaster is an alpine coaster, wouldn't it still be a coaster? Like, it's one that I'm on the fence about. But anyway, still, good bobsled, not derailable. You can go full tilt down it until the end. And it doesn't necessarily have a conveyor belt to stop you. So you do have to brake to prevent colliding into another vehicle, which did happen to me once. Thankfully, no one was in it. But still, when you're on that final straightaway after the camera, I would advise braking to prevent colliding with another vehicle, because you don't know if there's going to be a person in there. Got some dark ride scenes in this boat ride. Hondel Xerxes. And that's the building that dark ride scene is in right there. Free shoots. I've been hyping up the fact that there's a Mauer X car here. Got a lot of laps on this today. It was limited operation, I will mention that. This park does have other rides that are not limited operation, but this is limited operation. And considering what happened to G-Force at Drayton Manor, I would get out here and get on this thing when you can, because yeah, I definitely do not trust the longevity of this ride. But anyway, here's a look at that track layout. Beautiful, beautiful ride. I would say that, like, it's all positive G-forces all the way through, other than the two rolls, which give a little breather from positive G-forces. I would compare those to the final roll on Blue Fire. So, like, it's not quite as strong as that roll, but, like, I mean, those are, but it is stronger than what you would expect for a ride that's been all positives for those two rolls to be negative Gs. One thing I would change about this ride, you see that top hat, that inverted top hat? I would not have that an inverted top hat if I were designing this ride, because then that could be an airtime moment. So that would mix up the forces a little bit, and then you'd have this layout of all positive Gs with those turns, and then into those rolls. I feel like that would be a slightly more balanced ride, but it's a great ride as is. Great uphill launch, because this is a terrain coaster. And then, but yeah, like, I'd say that top hat, great positives on that inverted top hat. This loop, it maintains those positives through those, then it goes into a couple turns, and then it has those rolls comparable to a Blue Fire roll. And overall, great ride. I know this is going to be a hot take in some coaster circles. Better than Blue Fire. Like, Blue Fire, it's pretty forceless. It's just a more well-known ride because of the park it's at. This, it's very intense all the way through. It doesn't let its foot off the gas, and it has rolls that are comparable to the Blue Fire roll. Yeah, this is the better ride. That also begs the question, Freischütz or Formulae? Which one do I prefer? And I'm going to say Freischütz, but it is closer than I thought it would be, because Freischütz here, it's too positive force heavy compared to Formulae, which manages to have a variety of forces even if in its short layout that only has 13 seconds of prime ride time, which is why this ride is ultimately better. And this does mix up the forces a little bit with those rolls, so it's not completely not mixing up the forces. But this is definitely the more extreme ride. But it is slightly closer than what I would have expected it to be. And to be clear, I say that in the sense of Formulae is underrated as well. These Mauer X cars, underrated. I prefer them to Gerstlauer Eurofighters of equivalent layouts. But anyway, if you have not picked up on it, this park is really a family park that has one extreme coaster and a fun time drop tower that they happen to have. And given that this is one of their rides that they have on limited operation, and you have situations like G-Force and Rip Ride Rocket. How was I blanking on the name of that? But G-Force and Rip Ride Rocket, I'm not gonna trust the longevity of these rides overall, so get out here and ride this one. It's good.